Konnichiwa everyone! It's Dan from JaDan.co.uk and today I'm going to tell you some things that you should do if you come to Japan. Where's my internet? Hello? Are you mad, my friend? I don't know how much this ticket is. That's it, you've done it! You're coming to Japan. Good for you! You're going to have a great time. You booked your flights, you've got your hotels, you've had a little Google and TripAdvisor. What should I do while I'm in Japan? You've made a little plan. Good stuff. But it's slowly going to dawn on you that there's quite a lot of things that you need to consider about coming to Japan. It's not going to be the easy ride you thought, but luckily for you, you've stumbled upon this video today and I'm here to give you some tips of things that you should do if you come into Japan. Let's consider a little hypothetical situation, okay? So you're walking around, you're in Tokyo or something. Wow, look at all these big buildings, man. And you're having a great time. But you got a little bout of scrangula coming on, you're getting a bit hungry. So you decide, I'm going to get me some ramen. You walk around, you find a nice little ramen restaurant. You go inside, yeah, this looks great. You order some ramen. Great big bowl of ramen shows up. Sick. But if you eat ramen and don't post about it on Instagram, have you really ate ramen? Really? I don't think so, not these days. So you whip out your phone, click, 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 taking bare photos of your ramen. Good stuff. I'm going to bang one of these on Instagram. Hang on, I ain't got no internet. Where's my internet? Hello? What are you going to do? Ring up Instagram? Can you put my photo on Instagram, please? Nah, don't be daft. So what you need to do, you need to get yourself some Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is obviously a big deal, and there's lots of options to consider when you come into Japan. But what most people do is, at the airport, they rent a pocket Wi-Fi, which is like this. It's a little device. This is a WiMAX 2 Plus. And it's a little pocket router basically, and it'll provide you Wi-Fi wherever you go. It's got a SIM card built in, connects to like 4G networks and a bit of internet. So that's cool. They're relatively cheap and you pretty much use as much as you want on them. So that's a good option. Pocket Wi-Fi. Another option is you can go to like a big electronics store like Big Camera or Yodobashi Camera, something like that, and you can get like a traveler SIM card. A traveler SIM card is pretty useful if your phone is already unlocked and you can use any SIM card. They range in terms of days or how much data you can use. You won't get a phone number and you won't be able to use like text messaging services as such, but you should be able to use like Line or WhatsApp or whatever, and they're pretty useful if you're not that heavy on the data. And one more thing to consider is that a lot of big cities or major cities or indeed like department stores and stuff have free Wi-Fi you can use while you're out and about. So the major cities like Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo, there's a lot of free Wi-Fi spots you can hook up to. If you're not sure how to do it, ask the information desk nearby and they'll hook a brother up. So yeah, get connected. Step one. Hypothetical situation number two. You're walking around, it's your last day or even your first day and you decide, I'm going to buy me some souvenirs. So you do the mature thing and you go to Don Quixote. I hate that shop. And you look around for a bit, you see a Mario art, you see, I don't know, a poop emoji helmet, I don't know, whatever you want to see. And you load up your basket, yay, oh, sake Kit Kat, awesome. And then you go to the counter, and you whip out your credit card. It's not a credit card, it's me, door key, but props in it. And you're like, oh, can I have these please? And they look at you like, are you mad, my friend? Credit card here in Japan, don't be daft. So actually I think Don Quixote does take credit cards, so that story is kind of useless, but you get the idea. The point is Japan is a cash-based society, so you need a lot of cash. Don't go trying to whip your card out. Apple Pay only became a thing here last year, and it's not that big a deal. A lot of places don't do it, especially if you're going to small restaurants or things like that. Even a lot of stores you expect to take card, don't take card, which are a bit of a culture shock when I come here, so. Anyway, be sure to carry a lot of cash. If you do need to get cash from an ATM, it's not as easy as you think. So finding an ATM that actually uses international cards is not easy, but 7-Eleven, 7-Bank, they're everywhere and they do it. They charge a bit, but it's not so bad. So if you do need to get cash on an international card, 7-Eleven is literally going to be your best friend. Do that, make sure you've got a bit of cash on you as you're walking around at all times, and you shouldn't have any problems. While you're in Japan, you're probably going to want to do a bit of exploring, and nobody just wants to stay near their hotel all day. So there's a few things to consider while you're trying to get around. It's not as easy as you think it might be. So the first thing, and one of the most popular options for tourists in Japan, is to buy a JR Rail Pass. This is a rail pass for like 7 days or 14 days or something, and it gives you unlimited use of the trains, which is sick. But don't try and buy that when you get here, because you're going to have a bad time. If you rock up to information desk, oh, I'd like to buy a JR Rail Pass for foreigners, please. Like, that what, mate? No chance. Should have bought that before I got here. Get paying like everyone else. So yeah, buy that before you come to Japan, because otherwise it's going to have to be some other options. Speaking of other options, got these things. This is an IC card. It's like a top-up card that you can use to get about on trains. If you don't have this, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to be in a massive station with no idea where you're going. There's a massive board with coloured lines and lots of numbers and kanji that you can't read for places that you don't know. And you're going to be sat there like, I don't know how much this ticket is. So what you need to do is then look at what number it is, go to the machine, buy a ticket for that number, and off you go. Not easy. So get one of these instead. You can buy them from ticket machines in stations. Just use English button and you can buy one of these. You can top it up at any station, just put credit in the machine, and when you're walking through the gate, beep. When you leave at the other side, beep. It takes it off your balance. Don't have to worry about working out how much it costs before you set off. Good stuff. Another thing is actually getting from A to B using the trains is not as easy as you might think it is. There's a lot of different lines, a lot of different routes, a lot of different companies, and you're going to need to do a bit of planning. So that's where like applications come in. Go to the App Store, search Japanese train apps or something like this, and it's going to come up with a list of cool ones where you can put in starting place, ending place, go, and it'll tell you which trains to catch, where to change. Me personally, I use Google Maps. Google Maps has got sick these days. It's got basically the local transport system, especially for major cities. So I can be like, oh, I'm in Akashi and I want to go to, I don't know, Kobe Port Tower, bang, and it'll tell me which station I need to go, directions to the station, which line, which platform, how many stations, where to get off, where to walk, and it's sick. So if you don't have a specific app, use Google Maps or get an app before you come here, and that's going to make getting from A to B a lot easier. So yeah, be smart when it comes to trains. Another thing that's bound to happen to you while you're in Japan is one day you're going to be sat looking at a sign and you're going to have this moment where you're like, I don't know what that says. It's bound to happen. They've got like a bajillion kanji. You've got no chance of learning them all, so you need some kind of secret weapon before you get here. And before I even say this, I know what you're going to think, but I'm going to say it anyway. Google Translate app. I know, Google Translate's not good. It's definitely not good. But for just vocabulary, it's pretty sick. And the app on smartphones has got a built-in function, which is quite useful in Japan. Camera mode. So what you do, you open Google Translate, you click camera, and you point it at that sign you couldn't read. Click! And it comes up with picture, and it automatically picks out all the Japanese, and you highlight it, and it does a little translate for you. And then you can sit there and read it like, please stop taking pictures of our shop, you silly foreigners. Oh. And you kind of wish you hadn't bothered. But yeah, Google Translate for vocabulary, especially for kanji, is really quite a useful thing to have, especially in train stations or stuff if you're really not sure what's going on. Useful as hell. So let's imagine you're back at hotel, you've had a busy day Instagramming your ramen and taking Google Translate pictures of signs that tell you not to take pictures of the shop. Busy day, all your gadgets are on red battery now, mate. You need to get them charged up. But wait a minute, my English plug don't fit into this O-link wall. Of course not, mate. In Japan they use different plugs. So you need to get yourself a converter thing, or whatever they're called. Transformer, I don't know what they're called. But one of them things that makes an English plug go into a Japanese socket. And you can buy them from like the big electrical stores like Yodobashi Camera or something. And they're not bad, they're pretty cheap, pretty available. But if you want one of them for every single device you've got, that's going to suck. So you've got a couple of options. You could buy Japanese plugs for most of your stuff. Like if stuff charges by USB, you can get cheap USB plugs. That's not a problem. If you've got like a laptop or something you want to plug in, you're going to need another option. So what I would suggest doing is bringing a 4-way from back home. Like this. This is a 4-way, power board, whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, I can plug in 4 English things using one plug. So I only need one adapter for 4 English things. And what you can do if you're really smart, infinite power. Anyway, bring a 4-way from back home. And that way you can charge up multiple devices only using one adapter, and you can be smart. That's some good planning, I think. So yeah, do that. And basically, if you can't do that, get some sort of mobile battery that'll keep you going. Cool. So there are some tips that I think will benefit people coming to Japan that you might not have thought about. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do me a favour, subscribe to my channel. But anyway, I'm off. As always, until next time, Jamata!